and I went to basic training when I was 18 years old. And you spend 3 months in Marine Corps basic training away from family, away from, the friends that you've known. You got to develop new friends. You got 4 adult men, strong adult men who can kick your ass, spit in your face, talk shit to you all day. You can't go home. You can't call your mama. You can't do anything. You know what I'm saying? You only get, phone calls in special situations. I've been about 4.5, 5 weeks in, and I lied to my drill instructors and told them that I got a letter from home saying that my mom was sick and I wanted to call my mom's. In addition to me telling them that, I only got to talk to my mom for like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Immediately when I got on the phone, I started, I started kind of bawling a little bit. I wasn't like boo-hooing, like snotting and shit, but I was crying. And my mom said to me that, she said, hold on. she said, are they in the room with you right now? I was like, no, ma'am. She was like, listen. She was like, you got to pull yourself together. You can't go out there. You can't, show them that you weak. You can't let them see the red in your eyes. You can't let them see these tears. This whole thing is going to come to an end. You know what I'm saying? You're going to graduate. We come to see you, and that's it. We're not coming to pick you up because you injured. We're not coming to pick you up because you quit. We're coming to get you in August because you're graduating. And that's it. So you need to get yourself together because it's all going to end soon. So you 4.5, 5 weeks in, you're going to be there till August. Finish out. And stop crying, you know what I'm saying? That's what she told me. And so I say that to say, even like with emotions and times of severe pain and stuff like that, all that stuff comes to an end. Like, you got to find a way to just let it pass because it's going to come to an end. And I know Natalie's going to get on here now and tell me, like, that's still disassociating yourself from the pain. But, that's real, though. Like, it's a disassociation, true. But at the same time, like, you have to find ways to deal with it better than killing yourself.
Cope.
Yeah.
That's what he found. He found his way to cope. And I guess he told you guys that story because he wants you to understand the mantra that he uses in his life of when things come to, when you have pain, eventually that pain is going to come to an end. But when I went through that pain, I learned that some pain doesn't come to an end. I will never, ever, when I think about losing my dad today, it can make me physically sick. But what I realized is I got stronger. The pain didn't get weaker. I became a stronger person. I grew from that experience. So I will never stop missing my father. That is something that I will continue to miss. I will always miss that person in my life. With a breakup, depending on how, I feel like...
Let me ask you a question about your pops real quick.
Go ahead.
So, if you don't mind, how long has it been since your pops passed?
He died in 2011.
2011. Okay. Now, the person, I always, when I think about her talking about her father, because it reminds me of the way I talk about my father. He sounds like a person that's supposed to be respected because she speaks about him with respect. With that being said, do you think, in your right mind, what do you think your father thinks about you right now? Even when you're going through the pain of his passing, do you think he wants you to feel that pain?
No, which is what helped me cope. I had to learn that though. My mind was so frazzled because I thank God that I had people praying for me, and I thank God that I had strength around me. Because if you don't have that type of support system, if everybody breaks down on you, if you are in a relationship and you've gone through so many painful things, you haven't even shared them with people because you know that people will be like, "You stupid, why did you stay?" So you have to remember, we do have to separate the two, because losing a parent is not the same as losing a relationship. We're just talking about coping mechanisms. So I kind of want to take it back to the subject. But it's really, really hard when you have put the person so deep into your life and you lose that person, and you lose that person for whatever reason. For whatever reason that you lose them, whatever things that you go through, even if you decide to leave that person, you're still going to go through a grieving process. What I'm saying now is that people have a harder time breaking up and letting go of those people than they did previously. And an older person brought to my attention that when they used to break up with their girlfriend, sometimes the man that was explaining it to me, he was older, he said, now we didn't like girls from our neighborhood. We like girls from other neighborhoods. So we would always go out and get the girls from the other neighborhoods to show off to the neighborhood. Like, hey, I got a girl you ain't never seen. And I know ain't none of y'all ever touched this. That's mine. Now, and he said, now, if anything happened with that girl, she would go back to her side of town and he could still stay on his side of town without that type of pain or without that embarrassment or without keep being reminded. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, we don't have that luxury. We have all type of ways to get over somebody. I had an ex-boyfriend. The thing,
like it's really so. I think in the world that we live in 2017, it should be at least so much easier to just go ahead and get over. Like, there's so many things to focus on. Like, I don't know, man. I really feel like it's a lot more to focus on than personal. You know what I'm saying?
I think we have a lot more abuse.
The grief of a breakup is just, I don't know.
We have a lot more abuse going on in relationships, verbal abuse and verbal manipulation.
Definitely.
Because people, women and men alike are manipulating each other and telling, like sometimes people will say, you'll never find somebody who'll love me like you do. And that could be true. You don't know if it's real, if it's not real, especially when you don't have anybody teaching you previously, especially when you might not talk to your parents, especially when your girlfriend is tired of hearing about this nigga that you keep talking about that she said to leave. You have to deal with those pains on your own. And if he's cheating on you, making you feel like you're less than, this is what Mike told me when I was speaking to him. He said, nobody can ever make me feel than less of what I am. Because to myself, I'm whole. As long as my parents love me and the people, I guess, that he loves him and respect him, he's okay. So
I think that's where it starts. That's where you have to start.
Right. So that's why I thought it was important for him to share that, because a lot of people need to hear that. I had to learn that. And I guess what he's saying is, maybe he learned it in that moment with his mother on the phone when she was saying that there's pain that comes in life and it will come to an end. You just have to get through it, basically.
And at the same time, some people
feel like there's no ending to it.
At the same time, I'm pretty sure that was hard for my mama, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I was 18.
Somebody took the pain.
She didn't want me to go anyway. You know what I'm sayyour So,
and then you caught her crying.
Yeah.
And
she didn't want to hear that shit.
As a mother, I don't know if your daddy was probably in the background saying, don't you, he got to get through. Whatever he was probably trying to tell your mama, like, don't get on the phone, because your mama probably wanted to cry.
Probably so.
However, that's a graduation. She knew that you were only going to be in it for a short time. A lot of people don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Just like this case that just happened in San Bernardino yesterday, where a man and his woman, they was breaking up. She was moving on. So he went and shot her at work at a elementary school. He shot her, 2 other children, and himself. So he could not deal with the fact that she was moving on.
That's one of the things, like that's cowardice. You know what I'm saying? That's cowardice. I just want to point that out.
I think it's a cowardly way out, because
fucking cowardice.
I actually think that it's irritating, because if you gonna take yourself out.
Just take yourself out.
Just take yourself
what's the
out.
point? What the 2 kids, and what does she do to you? Like,
he still has
if you
the
can't
ego.
deal with it, you can't deal with it. You don't deal with it. Don't make it. Don't spill it over to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, like people, like, I see
with that control,
in 2017. Though. Like, I remember when I first got into the Marine Corps. Like, Marine Corps has a very, very high suicide rate. And you feel for the brothers, you know what I'm saying? Especially when, you know what I'm saying, you consider them your brother or whatever. You feel for them that they couldn't, you know what I'm saying, cope with shit like that. But then some part of you feels like, bro, that's a weak way to go out. And I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like that's a weak way to go out altogether, because, like, there's so many people in this world that deal with shit in 10 times worse situations than us. And it's like, yo, you couldn't deal with a breakup, so you went to a school and killed a woman and 2 kids, and then yourself. Like, that's straight cowardice. Like, if I really feel like people got to learn how to, like, we got to do better than that. Like, it's too much, and especially like in 2017, I was about to say, it's too much acceptance. It's too much suicide, kind of like
suicide. That's
not.
what it's called.
It's too much. Not just murder suicide, but I mean the suicide culture in America. Like, we're really like passive towards it. Like, we're really soft about, like, stop fucking killing yourself. Like, don't think about killing yourself. None of that. Like, because it's not.
But what
necessary.
I'm trying to explain to him is that when he was in the Marine Corps, he knew that in August this was going to stop. When people are in pain, they do not see an end. There's no month end. There's no graduation to that. They do not see that. They feel like they are hopeless. So what you have to offer people all the time, I say this all the time, I feel like people who have tools are more prepared to deal with things. Even though Mike was using an example of he's already preparing for his parents to die. Now, although I feel like you can never be prepared.
You can never be prepared.
You can never be prepared.
Sure.
But in his mind, it's just like, I know everybody in a relationship at times thinks that it might not work out. My parents were married for 30 years, and I heard them having conversations like, I just don't think this is gonna work out. But
the reason why I think about that though is because, like, I'm 34 years old. This year I'll be 35. I'm 15 years away from 50 years old. Okay, I can see that 15 years is nothing. In 15 years, my parents will be in their 80s, in their mid to late 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. My grandfather died when he was 88. Like, we don't know. So, like, I'm going to have to buck the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? My dad did when his dad passed. Like, he shed a tear too. But, I know Charles and Brenda, like, they not going to want me to be distraught. I already know that. Like, I gotta keep living for them because they can't live no more. You know what I'm saying?
That's the point.
I'm not telling you. I want to make sure I stress to you that I'm not telling, because I'm not dealing with it yet, and she's dealing with it now. So I'm not saying what you should do. I'm just thinking about it in terms of my folks. Like, my folks got this stuff mapped out. Like right. My mom is always like, yo, when I die, y'all need to burn me quick and get rid of me. Like, don't let nobody come see me. Open casket. Me and your daddy. Burn us, you know what I'm saying? Keep the urn in the crib or something. Or dump the ashes. Like, they already, like, it's...
But I get that part. But what I'm saying is that's a parent as opposed to a relationship. You, in a way, even though it can hurt, I feel like you can expect your parents to go because you know that they're older than you.
But when you love somebody to break out from a relationship, I understand.
You can't expect, if you think that person, especially when you are the person that is constantly... the person that's still in love. If you still feel like there's a lot of love there, when I see you, I get happy. When you see me, you get disgusted. That is a very hard feeling to deal with. Because after you move on, your relationships, none of them continue to try to contact you after y'all broke up? Everybody moved on?
No. They didn't.
No, they didn't, right?
No, you're right.
But you continue to move on, right?
Yeah.
But you kept seeing patterns of people who did not.
Right.
So, you're one. You've been with 8. The statistic shows that more people have a harder time dealing with a breakup, recovering from a breakup, than you do.
Yeah, so folks, there's a whole podcast about this shit. Don't name the podcast because they're not my friends. But there's an entire podcast about this shit. And I think that's crazy. Like, but... I mean, just like, man.
I think that it's crazy for him to think that his idea is the majority.
I'm not saying that my idea is the majority. I apologize if I've come off in any way saying that. But what I am trying to say is, like, is better ways to deal with, situations like that rather than crying up in a bar in the crib and like just crying about it. Like, it's better ways to deal with it. Like, 'cause life don't stop. Like, just because I broke up with a girl, I still got to go to work tomorrow. I still got to make money for my living. You know what I'm saying? My niece is still around. My nieces are still around. My nephews are still around. They still need Uncle Mike. Like, it's other stuff going on that takes me away, that should take you away from the breakup.
Right to my point. I feel like people who have a purpose bigger than themselves, have an easier time getting over things. Me. one, dealing with